Design thinking is the process in which teams and designers typically use to create innovative solutions by way of brainstorming, prototyping, and testing. Generally speaking, design thinking can be split into 5 stages. Well, these 5 stages are not necessarily in a linear order, but can be revisited at any time throughout the process. The first step begins with the letter P, which of course stands for procrastination. This step can technically be performed at any stage, but almost definitely happens before the start of the project. It typically involves Netflix, eating, or binging YouTube top 10 lists. Some people actually ignore this step completely, and for those specific individuals, the P actually stands for proactivity. Note that these individuals do not represent the average. Step 2. Discovery. This step almost always starts the same way, by ignoring the creative brief. The creative brief is an outline of the goals and deliverables of the client and is extremely important, but most of the time, it won't be read until halfway through the project because the designer is going to do whatever they want anyways. The discovery step usually involves research and interviews if possible, and if not possible, Wikipedia. Well, this may not be the best data available, you gotta do what you gotta do. Step 3. Creating. Also called experimentation, this stage involves using the information from the prior step to create prototype solutions. This stage is the most trial and error involved, with the idea being that by trying a lot of different ideas, one might actually work. It's important to remember that this stage is all about imagination and ideation, so try not to worry about the limitations of the problem. Is it within budget? Don't worry about it. Is it all inclusive? Don't worry about it. Is this thing even possible? Probably not, but don't worry about it. So once you get a few 100 ideas, you gradually lower your grandstands until you have an idea that's actually feasible and move on to the next step. Step 4. Reflect. Step 4 is about reviewing the work and trying to improve it. At this point, the designer typically begins to realize how systematically flawed their design is, and panic starts to kick in. This often leads to an endless cycle between the previous 3 steps as the designer chooses to redo their project over and over again. The designer will often decide to call upon feedback from others to retouch and tweak the overall product before promptly ignoring that feedback to stick with their original designs. Step 5. Implement. Implementation begins when a final concept is created. Everyone has a concrete visual of that product, and it's ready to launch. Coincidentally, this always happens right before the deadline, regardless of what stage you were on before. But at least at the end of the day, you know you have something. You have something to present, you have something to submit, you have something to publish. Even if you don't know what that something is.